We are going to be working on this worksheet, Multiplicative Comparisons on the Wall. This is Unit 2, Module 1, Session 2. So the wall is that great base 10 wall, and then when we're talking about multiplicative comparisons, we're talking about things like this here. Blank is blank times as big as. Okay, we're comparing it. So let's first jump to the wall. Here's the great wall of base 10. And we start at the right side of the wall. This is a unit down here, and it's worth 1. The next one is called a strip. So a strip is really 10 units combined together. And if you notice, when it moved from here to here, it's like times 10. 10 of these is 10 of this. Notice the pattern. The next up is a mat. So a mat is 10 strips. There's a strip, you combine them all together. A strip, there's 10 of them. So 10 times 10 is 100. So a mat is worth 100. If you notice that, it's like it's multiplying by 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So we started with a unit, 10 of those is a strip, that's 10. 10 strips becomes a mat. And then next up is called a strip mat. So there's 100 in each of these little squares. 100, 100, you keep working your way up. 100, 100. If you were thinking, I bet you this is worth 1,000, it is. 10 of those is worth 1,000. Which makes sense because we went from 100 and we're following that pattern of multiplying by 10. So 10 hundreds, or 10 times 100, is 1,000. Okay, now we're going to take each of those strip mats. So this is 1,000 right here, right? And then we have another strip mat, and that's 1,000. Guess what? They keep going. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. Okay? And if you guess 10,000, you're correct. So that is 10 times 1,000 is 10,000. Because I multiplied 1,000 by 10. So again, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. If we keep going, next would be 100,000s, etc. So let's review. So again, here is a number. I have 2 hundreds, nothing in the tens, and 3 ones. So the value of this is 203. We don't say and, so 203. Because each of these mats is worth 100. Because they're 10 tens. Again, each of these strips is worth 10. So 10, 20, 30, etc., 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. This whole thing is worth 100. This is worth 100. Think of it like $1. We don't have any strips. If we did, we would write them like that. There are none there. But we have 3 units. You can think of those like pennies. That's the number 203. Here's the number 240. Here's the number 239. So if I added one more, I would trade this, and that would go over here. It would no longer be this. It would be a strip, and then that would become 240. Let's take a look at this worksheet. It says you'll need to be able to see the Great Wall of base 10 in your classroom to complete parts of this sheet. You can always rewind this video and take a look at it there. Here are the 3 smallest pieces of the Great Wall. 3 smallest pieces: a unit, the strip, and the mat. Use them to help answer problems A through C. It says fill in the blanks. The strip, here is the strip, is blank times as big as the unit. Could it be 1 times as big? 5 times? Click pause. Think about what the answer might be. Welcome back. You said 10, you're correct. The strip is 10 times as big as the unit. How about the mat? The mat is blank times as big as the strip. So here, they're comparing a mat to the strip. So basically, how many strips does a mat take? Click pause. Welcome back. Did you fill it in? Did you put 10? If you did, you are correct. B. Andrew says that the mat is 1,000 times as big as the unit. Why or why not? Do you agree with him? Click pause. Write an answer. Hopefully you said no. You wouldn't agree with him. Because if you think about it, Andrew says that the mat, here's the mat, is 1,000 times as big as that little unit. Really, it's 100 times as big as the unit. Because 100 units, okay, would make a mat. 10 strips would make a mat. But here he compared the units to the mat. C. Which equation tells how many times bigger the mat is than the strip? Click pause. Welcome back. An equation, again it has an equal sign. How many times bigger is the mat than the strip? So how many strips to make a mat? 1 times 100? No, because we're comparing the strip to the mat. 10 plus 10? No. 10 times 10. I have 10 strips right here. 10 of them linked together here to make a mat. So it should be this middle one. Number 2. Now look at all the pieces on the Great Wall of Base 10 in your classroom. Again, you can rewind the video. It's in the purple. Fill in the blanks to complete these statements of multiplicative comparison. The strip mat is blank times as big as the mat. So let's go back. Here's a strip mat. Okay, so it's 100, 100, 100. It's worth 1,000. Okay, so think about that. The strip mat is blank times as big as the mat. So a mat is just one of these. So how many mats to get to a strip mat? Okay, click pause. Welcome back. You should have said 10. 10 mats to make a strip mat. Next one, the mat is 100 times as big as the blank. So how many, here's the mat. It's 100 times as big as what? So there's 100 of what? 100 of these. What do we call those? Click pause. Welcome back. You should have said mats. It takes 100 mats to make a mat. C. Okay. The strip mat is blank times as big as the strip. A strip mat. So here's the strip mat right here, pointing to it. This is what it's worth. It's blank times as big as a strip. Okay. So think about that. Click pause. You should have said 100. It takes 100 strips to make a strip mat, which makes sense because there's a strip, a strip, a strip. There's 10 strips here. 10 times 10 is 100. This is worth 100, but there's 100 strips. All right, and the last one. If the number 200, in the number 222, we're right here at number 3, the 2 in the hundreds place is worth blank times as much as the 2 in the tens place. So hopefully you're kind of getting this as we move from the unit or the ones. Every time we move, 1 to the left. So we go from the ones to the tens to the hundreds. It's 10 times as much.